As part of my job, I come across a lot of interesting devices, and many of which I share with you on the podcast, on the blog, on the YouTube channel, because I truly think they can add value and can help you improve your health and well-being. But at the same time, I also come across a lot of devices that are absolutely useless and that you should not be spending time and money on. So in this episode, instead of presenting you with my top recommendations, I'm going to present you with the top devices that are absolutely useless.
Welcome to the Primal Shift podcast.
And we'll start out with an electric spoon that tricks your taste buds into enjoying salty flavors without any salt. So it uses electrical stimulation to engage your taste buds and make you think what you're eating is salty, even if it doesn't have any salt. And I'm like, who on earth came up with that idea? Well, it was someone from Japan, but eat salt. Salt is incredibly important. The whole idea that you need to maintain a low sodium diet for your heart health is bullshit. That's been proven wrong a long time ago, and you should absolutely be enjoying high quality salt. That's a very important electrolyte that your body needs to function optimally, and you don't need a plastic spoon with electronics and EMFs in it to trick you into thinking you're eating salt even though your food doesn't have any salt. Number two is a quote-unquote smart straw that tracks water intake. I think the only thing more useless than calorie tracking is water tracking. As if your body can tell you when you should drink. And the best indicator is thirst. That's the body's mechanism of telling you that you should be drinking, you should be hydrating. But even if you're maybe out of touch with your body or what have you, and you don't know for sure you're drinking enough, are you over drinking maybe, just look at your urine. If it's brown, go to the hospital because there is a serious issue. If it's dark yellow, you're not hydrated well enough, so you can probably benefit from hydrating more. And if it's very pale yellow, you're good to go. You don't need any straw or bottle to tell you when it's time to drink. More importantly is with those smart straws, they're all connected either to Bluetooth, to Wi-Fi, what have you. That exposes you to EMFs. They're probably made out of materials that are not good for you. So no smart straw required to tell you when it's time to drink water or to tell you how much water you drank. Who cares? No animal on this planet, other than humans, need to be told what to eat, how much to eat, when to eat, and how much to drink and when to drink. It's absolutely mind-boggling that we think we need this because we are so out of touch with our own bodies. Number three.
We need to interrupt this episode for a quick shout out to our sponsor, OneSkin, because let's be honest, nobody wants the skin cells checking out early. It's called cell senescence, when your cells basically start acting old and sluggish. And OneSkin's OS1 peptide is clinically proven to help slow that down. Plus, it's free of those nasty chemicals you'd rather not have hanging around. If you're ready to give your skin some extra love, head over to oneskin.co, that's oneskin.co, and use code MKUMMER for 15% off. Now back to our regular scheduled program before any more cells decide to retire.
Is a Bluetooth fork that vibrates when you eat too fast. Now, I get it. A lot of people eat too fast, they rush through meals because they are already mentally, somewhere else, to-do lists, what have you. But needing a fork that tells you that you're eating too fast, a fork that tells you that you're not present during mealtime isn't really the solution. Here is an easy way to slow down your eating. You pick up your fork, you put a piece of meat or whatever you're eating into your mouth, and then you put the fork down and chew. And only when you're done chewing, when you've swallowed and you're ready for the next bite, you pick up that fork again. That's an easy and free way to slow down your eating. And the problem really is that it's not only about eating. If you're not present during your mealtime, chances are you're not present anywhere else either. And that's a systemic problem that you need to work on. You need to be present and think only about what you're currently doing and not about anything else. Number four is an AI-powered smoothie maker with subscription pods. As if making a smoothie is rocket science. You add some water or milk, some fruit, maybe yogurt, whatever into a blender, and your smoothie is ready. Maybe some protein powder, do you really need an AI-powered machine to tell you? Well, here is the thing. If you use any of those pods, you not only get the good ingredients, you get highly processed junk food like gums and thickeners, like artificial and quote unquote natural flavors, preservatives, sweeteners that you don't want, cheap protein powders that, you can get better, fruit concentrates or juices instead of real whole fruit. It's processed junk food that at the end of the day, yes, is convenient, but if we've learned anything is then convenient foods are terrible for your health. Take fast food as an example. Incredibly convenient, good for you, not so much. And an AI-powered smoothie maker, seriously, do you need the AI to tell you that to mix, some milk with organic strawberries and maybe some protein powder? I don't think so. Number 5 are mood tracking wearables that flash, colors based on your energy or based on the mood that you're in. I certainly hope that you can tell what mood that you're in without having to get a flashing wearable that tells you that you're angry. But it's obviously, those devices go beyond just showing what mood you're in. There are some that you can use to track your mood where you push a button depending on you're sad or happy or whatever. And then you can look back but seriously, I'm all for journaling, writing down how you felt on a given day, and then correlate that with maybe your food intake, with your stress levels, with, your level of exercise, with how much time you spent in nature. All of that is valuable. But introducing gadgets, introducing connected devices that pollute us even more, I don't think is the answer. And there are some devices like, the Up Mood that, measure your quote unquote mood, through HRV and some other factors, and then send, someone a notification that, hey, Michael is pissed right now. Really? That that just takes away the whole human interaction and reading someone's body language. You can typically tell if someone is not in a great mood or if someone is happy, and they'll show you even without saying it. And so, again, relying on devices to let someone know or to let yourself know how you feel, I think is just an incredible waste of time and resources at the end of the day that land up in the trash and fill up, trash dumps at some point, and we absolutely don't need that. Now, one related to the smart straw I already mentioned are smart water bottles that light up and sync with your calendar. And again, it goes back to drink when you're thirsty. Look at your pee if you absolutely have to. If you have no clue whether or not you're thirsty or drinking enough, just look at your urine and you can tell. And there are even some bottles that are specifically designed for kids, have like a virtual pet inside that grows when kids drink water, Wi-Fi enabled, but seriously, $100 bottle for a 5-year-old that's made out of plastic and exposes them to EMFs just because you failed to teach your kids how to listen to their bodies. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. They are waste of time, waste of money, waste of resources. Number 7 is a meditation pod that you can climb into like a space capsule. So you're in absolute silence. And it's only $15,000. So who wouldn't want to have one of those meditation pods? But you know what? How about just sitting in your car, in the garage or in a driveway or in a parking lot? You kind of get the same experience. You're by yourself. It's probably relatively quiet. But how about instead of that, being in absolute silence, why not take a walk in nature and listen to the sounds that we are supposed to listen to, that calm us down, that help us meditate. I've yet to see anyone being disturbed by the sound of wild birds or insects or whatever. If you get disturbed by that, I think something's wrong with you. So I'd rather go in nature, save those $15,000 and just spend the time walking in nature. Or if that's not your thing, just sit in your car and meditate there. Number 8, and that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in recent history, and that is cold wear that's supposed to make cold plunging more comfortable. What? That in itself is an oxymoron. Cold plunging and comfortable. I go into the cold because I want to feel uncomfortable. So I can learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And why on earth would you wear shorts that are made out of insulated neoprene to feel more comfortable in the cold? That doesn't make any sense. I can get if people wear like neoprene gloves or whatever because of their fingers, because arguably maybe there is not a whole lot of benefit from, having cold fingers or even cold toes, even though I would argue if you want to embrace cold get into the cold without wearing any gadgets that make you feel more comfortable. I think that's ridiculous. And pants in particular, or shorts, I think they cross the line of where I'm like, why even bother? Just take a warm shower. If you don't want to get uncomfortable, this is absolutely ridiculous. And this was a product that was pitched to me just recently. And I'm like, do I look like I want to wear shorts to make me more comfortable in the cold? Ridiculous. Number 9 is also a new AI powered app that lets you track calories by taking a picture of your food. And I've talked about, just in a recent episode, the nonsense of tracking calories for anything. There is absolutely no fucking need to track calories for any purpose. There is no animal on this planet, I've mentioned it before, that needs to be told when to eat, what to eat, and how much to eat. Every animal on this planet just eats based on how they feel, how they are wired. It's only stupid humans that have been so messed up over the years that need to be told, evidently, what to eat and how much to eat. That's absolutely ridiculous. And specifically with calories, I get it if you want to track your protein intake because you're an athlete or want to gain muscle mass or what have you. But tracking calories, 1000% useless, and you definitely don't need an AI powered app to tell you how many calories you're eating. Now, those were 9 devices or gadgets that I find to be incredibly useless. If you know of more, let me know by either sending me an email, or if you're watching this on a platform that supports comment, leave a comment if you came across a gadget that you think is absolutely useless, or if you think that some of those that I mentioned in this episode are actually useful in your opinion. Let me know as well. I'd like to hear your take on that. Because I just don't see it. But again, we have all a different perspective, different backgrounds, different use cases. And so I'd like to hear from you. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Until next time.
On the next episode of the Primal Shift podcast, we're talking pre-workout routines. No hype, no powders, just what actually moves the needle. Turns out, it's way simpler than most people think.